Okay. And again, I literally just asked ChatGPT, give me all the tips and factors that will increase trust factor for GBP verification. Literally, the first thing it told me is get the G Suite email address. Okay. Isn't that telling us something here? Complete your profile fully. All fields filled out. Make sure all sections of your GMB is filled out completely. Name, address, phone number, website, hours, and services. Do not put spammy stuff in your GMB, right? Don't put like keyword stuff into the description. Don't do extra stuff. Just make it all naturally sounding. Ensure consistency across platforms, NAP consistency. We all know that name, address, phone number must be consistent on all the social media, citations, use real physical address. Yes, we know that we can't use PO boxes and stuff like that. For those of you that haven't checked the training in a while, are doing the video verification, I added a new video in the training for video verification. It's from one of Dan's partners, like Chad. He made a good video on that. So it's in there if you want to check out how to do video verification, where you don't even need to be in the location of the address. Using burner phones and stuff like that, you can do that process while being at wherever you live. For those of you that are doing the done for you package, I'm also testing because my friend John, he owns a rehab business, right? So he has an actual office and he has actual vans, and I'm going into certain niches that are consistent. So whether that be buying some asphalt shingles for roofs, a couple bucks off Home Depot, getting some of that, getting the tools in the van, getting these magnetic company logos and sticking it onto the van and showing the office with business card, the roofing license, which we can get, and the address with the street, which I can fabricate. And there's stores in Amazon where you can get the street and the street number and the address. And I'm gonna be doing that. Now, again, I still need, if you're gonna do the partnership, still need your guys' help when possible with the verification, because this does take a lot of physical work time. And so don't expect like our team to be able to do it all at once right away. But obviously, once we get a process down, we can do more and more, hopefully. But again, if you do the G Suite and John's ex-girlfriend recently verified home cleaning map listing with no verification needed, right? So there's different factors that I'm studying that you can get map listings verified without video verification. And so again, some of these map listings might get verified without video verification. I think some of the factors that are important there are you have a trusted Gmail account, okay, probably a G Suite. Another thing with the G Suite, guys, is it just looks hella more on the website too. Like, for example, this is a roofing sign in Chicago, like sales@matthewsroofing.com, right? Being able to place an actual business email looks way more legit. And I believe and Google can potentially crawl your site too and look at that too, potentially, right? Having the name, address, phone number, obviously, but then now you have the email. That's a business G Suite email, right? That looks a lot better. Yeah, going back to trying to get listings verified without the video verification potentially is like getting a G Suite, obviously getting the website and all business name and the map listing business name all matching. Hopefully you have social media pages already indexed in Google with all the NAP on it. Hopefully some citations are already showing up on page one of Google when you Google the business name, because that is a thing, right? Google has an algorithm on understanding all the brands of the world. Okay, so every brand is called an entity, and every entity has attributes. Once Google crawls your website, social media pages, citations, Google begins to understand like, hey, Matthews Roofing is a roofing company based in Chicago. And name, address, phone, make sure it has to be in the schema as well, right? Which makes it easier for Google to understand. Schema is inside snaps. Okay, and there should be videos, or even if you ask ChatGPT, guys, don't underestimate the power of ChatGPT, right? Like it can even crawl like Snap's help guide to see. So let's check this out. Snaps.ai, how can I add business information schema? We'll see if it pulls up anything. So it like crawled the site. Option one, use Snap's AI built-in SEO tools. Snaps AI offers AI powered SEO tools that can automatically generate meta description and other SEO elements. Log into Snaps account, navigate to SEO settings, enable SEO power tool, review and customize generated SEO elements as needed. Option two, manually add schema markup using code injection. For more control over the structured data, you can manually add JSON-LD schema markup to your site header, log into Snaps account, navigate to the page where you want to add schema markup, most likely first homepage, right? Access the page setting and customize option, locate the section of the code, injection, advanced header and footer. It's there. Insert the JSON schema markup into the head section. It's pretty simple, guys. And then you add here, it gave you the code. Local business. Okay. Type, you're not going to touch that, right? Ensure. So business name, URL, business logo, URL of the business, phone number, the address, boom, right there. And also you can put all the social media accounts. Local grids. Okay, I don't think this is local grids. The point is, I know Chat Snaps has the training, right? I know Snaps has great support, but there's something to the power of the speed of ChatGPT where you're like a little bit lost. You just ask it and it just crawled the site and it just gave you exactly what to do. You guys need to get used to using ChatGPT like all the time. So I was talking about how to get the map listing potentially verified without the video verification. So let's say you create the G Suite, but you're located in Texas and you're trying to create a map listing in Chicago, Illinois. Let's say, for example, for my Chicago roofing client. I don't think, here's what I'm testing now, and I'll report back, but I don't think it's enough for you to simply just create the G Suite and have it logged into it from an IP in Texas when you're trying to create a map listing in Chicago, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go to your Gmail, Gmail tracks every IP that the people logged into that Gmail. Oh, maybe this is not, okay, let me just check. Oh, this one's the email where I have other VAs like logged into. And then I want to show you a screen where you can clearly see I have people from my VAs from Philippines logging in. It has the IP and everything. So let me go there real quick. Speaking of which, I need to update the payment. Try going to account. Oh, no, I think it's under security. Security, new sign in. All right, look, see, review, security activity. Okay, so we had people sign in from the Philippines. But you see how it's tracking all of that, all the activity of where people are logged in for this Gmail account, devices, sessions, right? Multiple sessions. Here's the thing, right? Now, some people might ask, oh, wait, do I need to show sessions all the time on my GMB email? No, that's not, I don't think that's the case because once you create the GMB, then you can add a different email as a manager account. So Google built that for a reason, right? Because they knew that there's business owners and they're going to hire digital marketing agencies to manage their GMBs. So once you create the GMB, then you can add like a manager account email. Then with that one manager account, then you can manage various people's GMB. Then it will not matter if you're logged into that manager account email from a different IP because you're treating it as if you're the agency that's controlling these other GMBs. But when you go to create the GMB, I feel like that part of it, you want to increase the trust factor as much as possible so that hopefully you can get things verified without the video verification. And so where am I going with this? See how it's tracking where people are logged in from? So what I'm thinking is once let's say you're in Texas, you create the G Suite account. Let's create a scenario where you logged in from an IP address in Chicago on that G Suite account. And not just any IP. We're not talking about VPN. VPN uses IP address that are from data centers and Google knows that. But there's an actual residential IP. Residential IPs are different. Residential IPs are the most trusted IPs. I know this because it was a time where I had to create highly trusted like Facebook ad accounts, right? And so if you try to create Facebook ad account, because if you get your ad account suspended, it'll flag your IP. And so no matter how many different accounts and different emails and credit cards you use, if your IP gets flagged, especially with Facebook ads, you're screwed, right? Any account, any fresh account you create on that IP, immediately like low trust factor. So then next logical conclusion people had was like, okay, let me just do a VPN and change my IP. No, that's not gonna work. It's not good enough because they can easily tell that it was a VPN IP. So it's already gonna have a bad trust. Only thing that has the highest trust is residential IP address. So residential IPs only can be acquired if you actually are connected to an actual internet service provider, ISP. Right? Whether that's Comcast or Comcast is like from the Midwest, but whatever that internet service provider is in every region, there's different ones. And that's what's considered a residential IP. So then you can Google VPS, like Chicago, Illinois residential IP VPS. And so I was researching this earlier and get USA VPS with residential IP in Chicago. Okay, let's check that out. Okay. And I have to do a little bit more research here, guys. It does seem pretty expensive up front just to get the dedicated residential IP. $30. Wait, I think there's like a setup fee too. Maybe it's $35 a month. Yeah, so maybe you get it $35. Hopefully you verify the listing and then you cancel it after a month or two, right? Again, I'm just offering solutions or different solutions, but I will probably try this method and I can report back to you what I find. And with all of this, you still might do the video verification anyways. Again, if the video verification fails, I have other ways too. Like then what you go into what's called an appeal process, right? Where they require documents. Now, what I've found talking to different people is that some people are just providing electric bills and utility bills and you're maybe like photoshopping it and then sending it. And I've seen where it's still now you're on the hold phase, like processing, and it's 2 to 3 weeks down the line and it's still not getting approved. And then you're like reaching back out to them. It's this whole song and dance taking a long time, right? So what I would do is because then once you submit those documents, then the account no longer, you're not able to submit any more proof or documents. You have to wait for Google to change the status of your account. So I highly recommend instead of just sending 2 documents, send as much proof as possible. For me personally, if the video verification fails and it goes to appeal process, I'm probably going to spend the money to legitimately register the LLC and get the LLC actually registered in the state. In California, it's pretty cheap. It's like $100. My accountant told me in Chicago. Yeah, so Illinois might be a little bit more expensive. It's $500 for 12 months, right? So when you consider that these websites can make as much money as a restaurant, okay, like I've talked to Steve. Steve was working in that restaurant business for freaking a year and a half, helping his parents. And man, they were working like 50, 60 hours a week while his dad had cancer, by the way, like going through chemo, still working at the restaurant. They were barely making 5, 6K a month in profit. So it's just crazy. And then you consider they had to spend $350,000, their entire life savings sunk into the restaurant business and all the work involved, and they're making $6,000. When you consider that, and you consider getting a LLC of a map listing that costs you $500, maybe a couple $100 more in backlinks. So let's say in total $1,000 to $2,000 in to get a digital property that can make even half or even a quarter of that restaurant for just like $2,000. Like you really got to put things in perspective, right? And I understand that some of you guys are new or probably don't have that, maybe that capital, living more paycheck to paycheck. For those of you guys, I highly recommend. It seems that there's certain niches that are easier to verify map listings than others. Like the licensed trade, like the roofing, it might be a little bit more challenging. Like I said, John's ex-girlfriend recently registered a cleaning business map listing with no video verifications needed. The map listing has 0 reviews, but it's up, it's live. And not only that, like you don't always need a map listing to generate leads either. It just gives you an extra property that generates leads, but it's not 100% mandatory either. You can just rank the site and generate leads. For example, I have a Metal Gates website that I built 2, 3 months ago. The map listing's not live yet, but today I had a real lead phone call come in, and I don't even know where or how that customer found me. You build all these different pages and long tail keywords. You just never know how the tools are very weak at measuring where your sites are actually ranked. If you don't think your site is not ranking at all, I'm sure you have all had the experience. Like you don't even know, like you didn't even expect any leads to come in yet, and yet it generated a lead out of nowhere. And so what I believe is happening is that Google is constantly testing new sites out, right? So sometimes what it'll do, it'll grab one of your articles or whatever, and it'll put it on the first page of Google, and it's testing that article, that your site against other sites. And just by building a site and building some authority by creating the map or creating like the social media pages and some citations, even if you don't think your site is ranking at all, sometimes it'll just generate a lead. And that's always been my experience with this. So again, it just goes to show that, especially the newbies, don't get too bogged down about, oh, how am I gonna get the map listing? Just get the website out there. I've talked to several students that are joining the high ticket, and a lot of them were like they joined like 3, 4 years ago, and they just never got started here. This is the lead that I came in, April 22nd, like a couple weeks ago. But it's like a real lead, and I was shocked that I this even was generated.